Good morning. It's icy cold here today, and there's ice everywhere on the ground. So if I disappear from the screen, it's because I fell. So the House managers have finished their arguments, and today we're going to have Trump's defense, so-called. Well, let's go back a little bit. Trump's defense apparently also consists of conspiring with Hawley and Cruz and them putting together with Lindsey Graham what the defense is. Now, can you imagine a greater conflict in preparation? It is against the rules, plainly. They're supposed to be sitting there in the chambers listening to the evidence as some hybrid of jurors and witnesses and judges. They define themselves in different ways. But however you define them, it seems to me you can't be consorting with one side or the other to design the defense and to do it so openly. So what is the defense going to be? I sort of imagine them going to a fairy godmother last night and saying, "What can we do by way of defense?" And the fairy godmother said, "You got me. I don't know what you can do." And the answer in a real case would be not much. And you may have seen how I diverge somewhat from some other lawyers about how we approach this. And the reason that I think I'm correct is because this is described in our Constitution as a trial. And a trial is a plainly defined item. It includes openings, yes, but it includes witnesses that prove the statement that you make. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the managers who are living within this system as it exists. But you have to admit that what we really have had is spectacular PowerPoints with marvelous presentations, well considered. But there's a lot that's been left out in this process, and I don't blame the House managers. The pressure, I think, has been enormous to do this and get it done. And as a result, well, you know, if you don't do the best that you can't expect the best result that you want. I always say you can't win the argument you don't make. And there are arguments to be made here. And I've said what they are, which is, you know, you have basically a major conspiracy within the administration to do what happened on January the 6th, the culmination of an extended strategy to win by theft and coup what one could not win by fair vote. So if you have a regular trial, here's another thing. You don't present the case and then decide to have witnesses or not. You have witnesses, and then you argue the import of what they had to say. So why am I deviating from some experts and agreeing with others? And I think you'll find mostly when you hear a prosecutor talk or a former prosecutor, they're close to what I'm saying. Because it's like Alice in Wonderland to first have the summation and then the evidence. Openings in a real trial often are, you know, we call it roadmaps to what you can expect to hear. And that's to give some idea to a jury what to look for. And they did that here. But then they don't go into the evidence by way of witnesses explaining what happened. And that would take perhaps 2 weeks or a week. A real week, not arguing for 8 hours over whether or not you can actually have a trial for a president who was impeached while in office so that you can bar him from running for office, public office ever again. Now, so that said, and there may or may not be witnesses. And remember, in the last trial, we said, how can it be a trial without witnesses? And in this trial, we're not going to ask for any. Yes. Consistency, the bugaboo of tiny minds, so they say, or regular order that gives us confidence and trust. So, what is it about the defense that we should be looking for? Well, first of all, I've had a number of people say, how can the senators go and collaborate with Trump's defense and still be jurors, judges, etc.? And the answer is that they have no respect for the law. And the chambers doesn't appear, though we have a majority, to be willing to discipline them. And that form of sanction and coercion to do the right thing is what's been missing for most of the time that Trump has been on the national stage, both as a wannabe candidate, and then as the elected president. And people keep jawboning about what he's done, but they don't do anything about it. So here we have in the chamber several senators doing something that we know is wrong, and we're jawboning again. We're not going to do anything about it. And these guys, they were in charge of the objections, which were the focus of the demonstration on January the 6th. So the conflicts and compromises are abundant. Okay, so what can we expect as a defense? A, we can expect a disinformation defense. Oh, he believed at what he was doing. Okay, so instead of objective intent. He just thought it was like a rally. And again, in the context, that's hard to buy. But they're also going to do, well, whatabouts? That is, what about Senator so-and-so who gave a speech, and during the speech he says, and you've got to fight for this result. Well, you know, the same words in different contexts can have a different significance. You know, if I shout fire, and there really is one, that's one context. If I shout fire and there is no fire, and I cause people to be hurt and damaged and perhaps die and run over by other people, that's another context. So what do we have here? Well, instead of saying, you know, we have to fight against guns on the street, guns that would kill our children, that's a lot different than a president campaigning for months, saying, get ready to fight. They're going to cheat. They're going to cheat. The only thing we can do is to go up to the hill. And so when you lay side by side what Trump said and what they're going to say any other politician said, they pale by comparison. Also, we can't ignore the fact that these attorneys are not the pick of the litter. So I think we can't expect so much. So anyhow, that's my thoughts on this icy day out walking. And I hope you get out to get some fresh air. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. I think Ari's going to have a special on Saturday about the impeachment. And I think I'm participating. I hope so. I'd like to. And stay tuned to see if it's on. All the best. Bye-bye.